Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHIM, RICANS. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who taught me this truth through the Spirit, and shalom to the mighty Akim and Akwath out there who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. And today, I'm going to be responding to a comment that was left on one of my newer videos. You can't serve two masters, okay? So basically, I go in on, in a general sense, I don't remember exactly what I said, but what I do remember is I talking about how this so-called Jake cop is saying that is basically when the Jake cop speaks, he's more so trying to disassociate himself with other Israelites or so-called black people. All right. So now, another thing I want to point out is that this person is a repeat commenter. They posted over here as well. I replied to them. They didn't reply me back. They don't have any answer to my response, I guess. But, oh well, I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm talking about this. So let's look at what the comment says. So it's just 4 scriptures unquoted and without knowing where they're from, but I just Googled them and, I found them. So basically, Matthew chapter 20, we're going to read their scriptures that they brought out. Matthew chapter 20, verse 25. And YAHAWASHI called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, let me go over here. But YAHAWASHI called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister, and whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. You have your that's the end of the scriptures, okay? And then they say, you have your generals, captains, soldiers among you, leading you, ruling over you. ... ellipses or whatever the frick. I don't know. So I honestly don't understand, because obviously my mindset is this is obviously a response to this. So I don't understand what's the point that they were making. So yeah, we have, as Israelites in Babylon, we're being ruled over by the Gentiles. Okay, so we see that. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What's the point of that? Okay, so my response that I have yet to, I'm going to post as I'm doing this video, if not after, is Matthew chapter 22, from Matthew chapter 22, verse 29. YAHAWASHI answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of Yahweh. All right. You took verse 25 out of context and didn't make a point. And you included verse 26 to 28, which in them and the beginning of the chapter, they were talking about people and their positions being translated to the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so let's show just what I mean by that. Okay, Matthew chapter 20 from the top to get the full context. So Matthew chapter 20 verse from the top. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and said unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. So the people that were the last to be hired, they were the first to be rewarded. All right? So they got their penny. Verse 10. But when the first came, as they went down the line from the 11th hour to the 9th hour, then the 6th hour, and the initial people. Okay? So after that, verse 10, but when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. Okay, so the people that were there the longest, the first hired, they thought that, okay, well, because we were working the longest, we should get more than the people that were working a shorter time than us. Okay, but they all received the same thing, because the initial agreement was a penny a day. Okay. Verse 11, and when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have bore the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? If thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. Okay, so that's basically what they were talking about in the. This is the context. This is basically the general idea of what the chapter is talking about. Okay, and then when you actually get down to where they went, it's with this context in mind. Reading verse 26. Well, let's start at verse 25. Okay, but YAHAWASHI called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister, and whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. Okay, so it's basically, and again, Sakya, and make note that in the beginning of the chapter, it's a parable. It is a parable for the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so the people that are receiving. The people that were there the longest, okay, like, for example, the people that were pushing out this truth longer than someone other, like if they were here in it for 20 years or 50 years, as there are brothers or elders in this truth that have been in here for 50 years, and then there's someone like me who's been here for less, like. I believe 3 years. It is not a matter of, okay, that brother is greater than I. Okay, so it's a matter of, it's in this context is a matter of letting people know it's not, there's letting everyone know that there's no hierarchy or there's no one above another. All right, it's saying that if there's a chief among you, let him be your servant. The chief, like the leader, that's going to be the servant. It's not, there's no brother that's better just because they've been in this truth longer than us. All right, so now we see that this is not talking about, it's not talking about that. Okay, it's not talking about the people that are above you. And even if it was talking about that, then what does that supposed to mean? Like the generals, captains, soldiers, they're supposed to be my servants. The Babylonian captains, generals, or whatever are supposed to be my servants. Like, what was your point in showing this? Like, I actually don't understand. I'm actually confused. All right. But going into as I read Matthew chapter 22 verse 29, YAHAWASHI answered unto them and said, "Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures." They don't. This person, Diane Tiger does not know the scripture. They just put. They didn't even reference it. They didn't even show the source. Okay, I had to Google the thing to find it myself. All right. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. No man can serve two masters. This was the initial thing that I was talking about. So, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve YAHAWAH and Mammon. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about in the actual video. I was talking about you can't serve YAHAWAH and our enemy Esau Edom, because it's it's two separate mindsets, two separate doctrines, two separate things. Okay, the Most High wants us to do point A, and Esau Edom wants us to do task B. But task A contradicts task B. So in order for you to fulfill task B and please your Esau Edom, you have to dissatisfy the requirements for task A and disobey the Most High YAHAWAH. Okay, that's basically what was the main topic of this video. Yet I do not understand what was this person's point bringing this up. I'm very confused. Okay, so and another thing. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Most High thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Okay, so one thing to know is we're not allowed to have a heathen rule over us. And right now we have heathens ruling over us. Okay, so that they're not even supposed to be considered our king. Okay, they're not supposed to be considered. Yes, they do rule over us, but that's because we're in captivity. But in terms of actual recognition of who we're supposed to be following orders from, we're supposed to be following orders from the Most High first and foremost. Okay, and yeah, we have to keep the laws of the land, but we do our best to follow the Most High first and foremost. Okay, but at the end of the day, they are not our priority. These Babylonian generals and whatnot, they're not our priority. All right. And finally, okay, perfect verse, perfect precept. Revelation chapter 3, verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So basically, it means cold. What the colder and hot is referring to is if you trying to juggle task A and task B and serving your two different masters who are contradictory to each other. You can't serve them both. All right, like that is that lukewarm. You're trying to stay in the middle and then just at the end of it side with the winning side. When you can't do that. You either it said I would thou wert cold or hot. I'd rather you be all the way cold, all the way on Esau's side, or all the way hot, all the way on the Most High Yahweh's side. All right, that lukewarmness is unacceptable. All right, you can't do that. It's not a freaking you're not trying to. It's not. There's no pleasing everyone. All right, because again, it's two separate doctrines that don't mix together. All right, and with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem YAHAWADAH. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me the truth through the Spirit. And with that, I want to say Shalom.